Hi, this is Yvonne Galusha, and I'm making another video to show you how to complete Access projects using the virtual desktop, but this time I am using a Mac computer. So the first thing you have to do is you have to get the VPN client set up and installed. So that VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. It's basically an encrypted tunnel. I've already done those steps, and now I'm making the VPN connection. Looks like I've already connected. I'll go through that process again just to show you. All right, so here you need to type the VPN for the university and then say connect. And I wanted you to see this dialog box. This password is your Hawk ID credential. And then this needs to be a number. So I logged into another secure site, like for me, Icon, and then I requested that these text codes be texted to me. So you can't use like your phone for doing the connection, which I also have set up, and you may as well. You have to use a text code, and you can't request the text codes here, so you have to get them from somewhere else first. This has to do with the dual authentication. And to use the VPN, the dual authentication is required. So now you see I have the connection. Once that's done, the next step is to go over to SIMnet, and you've got to get the start file down on your Mac desktop. Now I've done it already, so that's why that's yellow, but I can download again. So I click Start File. You see I get a dialog box. I am not trying to open it because Access is not available to be opened on a Mac OS. Instead, I'm saving the file on my desktop. So say save. And I can see there when it's done downloading. Now I go and I connect to the virtual desktop, which is this link right here. And I have VPN set up so I can say continue. Now, of course, you log in again using your Hawk credentials. Make sure it's the Iowa domain. And now I'm actually going to be processing on the remote server. So I want to use one of their applications. Access should be right at the top because it's in alphabetical order. So I click now Access 2016. And it says open the Citrix Workspace Launcher app. That was part of what I installed before. And it's loading this application launcher, which is another piece of the virtual. At this point, I'm actually running Access. So I open my file and I want to browse. And how do you want to access files from this application? I want to be able to read and write. That's the only way you'll be able to change and update them. Now, this is the place if you are a Mac user and you haven't used Windows before, this looks like Windows because it's Windows that is running on the virtual desktop. So you don't have to do a lot with the Windows OS, but you do need to navigate. And it can be a little confusing because you see the word desktop, so you click here and then you don't see your file. Well, this is because this is the desktop on the virtual machine. You have to get to your desktop on your Mac. So the way you do that is you go to the C drive, because that's like the local computer, and you have to navigate like you would on a Windows operating system. So you have to go to the C drive and then users, and then this is my login for my Mac. So you see I expanded it, Yvonne Galusha, and now I click desktop here, and here you finally see where I've downloaded several times the Windows start file. So I'm just going to open one of them so you get the idea. It'll be a little slower because everything's going back and forth between your local disk and the University of Iowa server. You need to go ahead and say enable content, and now at this point you are able to proceed with the assignment. This is normal. You say, yes, I trust it. Whenever you load files over a network, you'll get these kind of security questions. So right now I could proceed with the assignment directions. I'm just going to remind you, in Access, when you do something like add a record or modify a field property on a table, make a new form or query, etc., when you close it, it will explicitly ask, do you want to save something, that particular object? And you say yes, and it's always saving then the file. So you never have to say like file save, like you would if you were working on Excel, PowerPoint, Word, etc. Now, if you go back, I'm using Command Tab to do this, but if I go back to Finder and I look at my desktop, and I'm going to go ahead and try to alphabetize it. What you see is this little file with a white, but that is there because I'm in the process of working on it. And in order to upload it, you've got to make sure you're not working on it, because it needs to be finalized what you just did before you upload it for grading. So you need to come back to the Citrix viewer. That's where you've got Access running, and you want to completely close this. It's a little slow, but once you've got this going, I'm using again Command Tab. I come back, oops, wrong thing, come back to Finder. Well, I'll get to Finder this way then. My Alt Tab didn't work. But if I come back here and now again go to the desktop, you see that little version of my file with the white icon is gone. So now I could go ahead and upload this file. So that is when you go back to the browser where you have SIMnet open, and you proceed with upload for grading, and you navigate to your own desktop, and then you can proceed right like that with completing this project. I hope you have found this to be helpful.